let's chat about season 3, episode 7 of Wheel of Time, the one that just came out this past Thursday. And we had the Battle of the Trollocs at Two Rivers. There was some stuff that happened with Loyal. There was some stuff that happened with Padden Fane, and a whole bunch of different things happened. What would you like to discuss first?
Where'd Perrin get his armor?
He's a blacksmith, and he forged it very quickly.
Yeah,
Actually, that was
that
the
was
funny thing,
very
right?
good.
In the beginning of that, I thought it was pretty funny. I'm like, oh, we're getting our required montage of building and fortifying a city in like a day and doing all these different things, which training the farmer folk how to be soldiers and fight. I was kind of laughing at that. It's so cliched.
Yeah, he's never worn armor, and where the hell would they get it? It's kind of like the hobbits in the Shire. Where would you get armor?
Yeah.
It's not there. But suddenly he steps out in this bright, gleaming armor, and I don't know. I thought that was just kind of odd. It looked cool, but kind of odd. The next Perrin thing is there was no deal with Bornhelm. He tried to make that deal, and Bornheld told him no. So there
Oh,
was no
Bornheld's the
deal.
white cloak who Perrin's father killed, or Perrin killed his father.
Correct. And Perrin said that if you guys will join us and help, then afterwards I'll give myself to you. Well, Bornhelm said no. They didn't come till later. That was not there was no deal struck. Uh, in my view, Perrin had no impetus at all to go with Bornhelm.
Let me ask you this. So, Maiden's Kiss, was that a thing in the book? I have no understanding of how this game could possibly work, where the two Aiel, they take turns kissing, and if they don't like the kiss, the blade goes in deeper. If they do, it doesn't. Like, what is the purpose of this game?
I guess just to show how tough they are.
Well, was it ever in the book? Like, did it explain a damn thing? And why can't they kill him? Like, you'd actually kill somebody over this? Like, I don't know. Everything about it seems stupid. At what point does it end, too? How many kisses? Like, it just seems so stupid.
I don't know. Maybe if they get aroused enough and they go beyond kissing to actual sexual congress, that's one way of ending it. Or when the kisses are so bad the spear goes into your jugular. Either way, it ends. I do recall something from the book about Maiden's Kiss. I don't remember a lot because it has literally been decades since I read it. Uh, but I can't explain it. I think it's just one of those weird things that Jordan picked to show, a cultural idiosyncrasy of the Aiel.
Mm,
Because
okay.
they're such rough and tough warriors that even in their intimate interactions, it can be deadly scary. It can be dangerous.
All right. Yeah, it makes sense.
I have a confession and I have a complaint. The confession is I completely did not realize for a while that Padden Fane had become a white cloak.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen the character and whatnot. I just wasn't putting it together with Padden Fane, right? And I wonder how the hell did he become a white cloak? I mean, what power of the Dark Friends allowed him to wiggle into that position? That's my confession. I didn't realize that it was the Padden Fane character. The complaint that I have is that he was controlling the Trollocs. That that doesn't even make sense. It would be a Myrdal, which we haven't seen a Myrdal for a while.
One of the
But it would have
faceless
been them.
ones. Is that what they call them?
Yeah, yeah. A Fade. They also call them Fades. We haven't
Yeah.
seen one of those in a while, and that's who would have been controlling the Trollocs, not a human.
Hmm.
So, just
Well, I think. Well, Patton Fane didn't join the White Cloaks. I would. I think what he did is that if I don't know if they showed it, but he killed a bunch of White Cloaks and then put on their armor to
right. Well,
infiltrate.
which is what I figured. I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of what I figured had to have happened because he was obviously not a white cloak for however many decades he had been a dark friend peddler looking for uh, the Taverne. But I don't know. Seems to me that white cloak security should have been better somehow. The secret handshake or the certain passwords, or there should have been something that clued them in that he wasn't really one of them.
Yeah. So the Trollocs in this one, was it just me or were they a lot smaller? And in fact, I think I even saw a female one, which was interesting. But they were all like the size of humans, I thought.
I don't know. I didn't really notice that. I keep going back to the fact that in the book they were more varied, and in this one they all seem to have those double goat horns. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and why I noticed that, I have no idea. They can make their Trollocs any way they want. I just uh,
I will say I don't think that the ice shards piercing enemy troops was as cool as the lightning. I thought the lightning was a lot cooler. But I like that they used their defense mechanisms properly. And I thought they were about to go charging in. And I was like, why would you charge in? What was the point of building these things? But they didn't do that. Although I will say that was another thing whenever it first opened up and they're funneling them into this, ravine or gauntlet rather. I was like, why don't you have archers and stuff up on the side of the hills to just rain down fire onto them? And they didn't. But at the very least, I did see the Aes Sedai finally somebody up on the ridge line because I was like, this is perfect for that. You're wasting
who
your
who
defenses.
put the projectile weapon? I don't know whether it was a spear or a giant arrow, but who popped in behind Alana?
I don't think I don't think it showed.
Okay,
Did
and
it show?
in the book there was a Master Luke, I believe was his name, and I know that we were introduced to him in the series when Perrin first came back to the village, and I haven't seen him since.
Hmm. I don't know.
So where did he disappear
Maybe.
to? And in the book, he
Yeah, I might
was
have
one
to
of the
rewatch
Forsaken.
that. Okay. Could be. Yeah, I think I'll have to rewatch and see because I don't think it shows who eh, who shot Alana because then then the wisdom puts up a shield so that the two girls and Alana can get away, and then the new wisdom ends up getting pierced with arrows too. But I don't think we ever see what steps through, so I'll have to rewatch that part.
And I like
I
Matt's
my
sisters. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I agree.
Yeah, I like Matt's sisters. Just setting that guy on fire.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Well, I guess before I get to my big disappointment for the show, there were a couple of other things to get to. One being what happened with Loyal in the Waygate. Does he die in the book? And is that how
Nope.
he goes?
Nope.
Okay. I'm hoping he's not dead. I could see them doing it just to save on like money or something because I don't know how much his costume design and CGI and all that cost, but I'm like, did they really just kill this dude off?
Yeah, he's dead. Or at least
That's
according to the, you know how they do those little talk shows afterwards?
Oh, you listened to it?
Yeah, I watched it, and Oil is dead.
Well, that's lame. That's really lame actually. But all right. Well, at least he went out in some heroic fashion, but yeah, that's pretty lame. The other thing is the Tuathlon, the what are they?
Tuathan,
Leaf people.
which is very
Yes.
close to the Irish Tuathan Demir. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, the kid, I forget his name, ends up protecting a baby, but he by doing so he picks up a sword and kills a Trolloc, which his mom sees. So I guess he's banished now for that.
In the book, Aram did wind up taking up the sword, but it occurred very differently.
Mm-hmm.
So eh, I don't know. Well, personally, I think that pacifism, no matter what, is just not realistic. Uh, but yeah, I have no complaints with Aram killing a monster that's trying to kill you and your people and children and whatnot. Go ahead and do it. In fact, kill a
Yeah,
bunch
I,
of them.
I actually I don't know how it occurred in the book, but I liked it in this. I mean, dude, if this doesn't get you to take up arms, I don't know what does. And yeah, I find that whole I like that. I like the theory or principle behind it, but the execution is stupid and immoral, I think.
See, I think to
Um
be successful in that sort of religious fanaticism, you have to have a certain amount of masochism, right?
yeah.
You can't. I don't think a regular human being would be able to watch their families abused and killed without making some sort of response. I know that a lot of people take offense easily and become combative very easily. So to go to that extreme where no matter the provocation, you are not defending yourself, or especially those people that you love, especially your children and whatnot. What I don't know. Do we have Quakers anymore? I don't think there's any Quakers anymore, right? Weren't they the pacifist group that would not fight? And I don't think there's any Quakers anymore. There might be, but I don't think so.
I don't know. And I know we've talked about it because to me that you're gonna die out. Like I don't know how you people have lasted 3,000 years supposedly, but here they are. They must. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, as far as I know, the most
Uh,
successful sect of a religion was the Shakers, and the Shakers had a belief that you should not, that all your energy should be directed toward worshiping God. You shouldn't bother uh, reproducing, so there was no way to continue the line. And sure enough, there's no Shakers left. So, you
hmm,
know,
that's
is that a
interesting.
success? Well, yeah, they
Yeah,
never procreated.
mission accomplished, I guess. Uh,
Complete extinction.
okay, my super big disappointment. Not a single damn wolf showed up in this battle. I was waiting for it the whole time for Perrin to call down the hellhounds, and nothing came.
Yeah, well, wolves are expensive to put in movies,
Yeah, that
especially when
was.
you're using actual dogs.
I think everybody please anybody out there not expecting the wolves to show up. I mean, they're showing Parent all over the place. Then they roll out the banner. Then they talk about how they're telling stories about wolves. Trollocs are afraid of wolves. You hear some howling in the background and stuff. Not a single damn wolf.
Maybe
Oh, that
Elias
was such
kept
a
them
let.
away.
Why would he do that?
Well, remember he was all hell bent on we're not part of people anymore. We're part of the wolves. We should be out
Mm,
here doing wolf things and hiding from people and Trollocs and whatnot. So maybe he used his very human like influence to keep the wolves from going and helping. You would think that a warder, and you would think it doesn't necessarily mean that it's so, but you'd think that a warder would know how best to employ troops. Maybe not. Maybe he's so used to being a standalone bodyguard type thing that military strategy isn't really his thing. But why would you try to make spearmen out of noted bowmen?
right.
And that's exactly what he was trying to do. And then the old guy was like, well, give me my bow and I'll do this stuff. And of course, it's been recognized throughout that the Manathrin or the people of the Two River areas were superior with the bow. So
Mm,
not to mention the bow gives you a ranged missile projectile weapon, whereas the spear, particularly the way they were using it, they weren't throwing them; they were thrusting them. That is a melee weapon, and granted, it keeps them further away than say, uh, a sword or a knife, but you're still in melee distance at that point. Whereas with a bow, you can shoot them while they're still running down through the valley. So I don't know that one just kind of what was the point in that?
well, I'm glad you brought some of that up. I mean, they did end up using the bow a good amount though for the defense and everything. But you brought up the spear and stuff. Dude, were they really dual wielding spears in the book? Because that is the silliest weapon combination you could ever do is dual spears. Do you know how
The
unwieldy that would
or
be? Yeah, the Aiel.
I don't recall if they ever had anyone dual wielding the spears, but I mean they're very much like the assegai of the Zulus. They're shortened spears, so they would
Yeah,
use them.
which problem is though with the spears, they're going to be so imbalanced that you've got two sharp edges that are heavier at that end. I mean, being trying to be able to maneuver those around your own body without stabbing yourself or cutting yourself. And it would constantly be throwing you off balance since the head of the spear is so much heavier than the shaft. I don't know. Seemed very unwieldy to me. Anything else on this one?
Mm, not anything that's come up in the series yet. Uh, so no, at this point, no. I keep my thoughts from the book to myself at this point because it hasn't come up in the series. I didn't realize this was made back in 2021.
This wasn't. That was when the first one came out. This is coming out live now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
This is the most recent
I
season. This is the penultimate episode. So next week we will be on the last episode of this season.
okay. Didn't season 2 only have like 4 episodes?
No, I think it had 6 to 8.
Did it? Because I heard the guy talking in the interview afterwards. And he said, when there's only 8 episodes per season, and I was pretty sure season 2 only had 4 episodes. But like I said, I don't really pay attention. I just watch, and when it kicks through to the next season or the next episode, I don't really note it.
Yeah. Well, season 2 had 8 episodes. Season 1 also had 8, and I'm assuming that this season will have 8 as well. And so next week will be the final episode of the season.
I wonder how many more times Alana's going to be killed and saved.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Oh, she might be dead on this one. The girls haven't saved her; they just burned up the white cloak.
No,
So.
I think they saved her.
No, she was laughing whenever the white cloak died, but
Right,
she still had a spear through her stomach or whatever. Because remember, the girls weren't able to focus and channel again. She
right,
asked them, "Could you do? You remember what you did before? Could you do it again?" Basically, and they were kind of like, "No, we don't know what we're doing.
right.
That was a fluke."
And you channeled a lot today. Blah blah blah. I remember that. Then I thought it showed her one last time, and she was healthy again. Maybe
I
not.
don't recall that. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it maybe. All right. Well, I'll end it there and we'll follow up on next week and see how the season ends.
Sounds good.